become that as we help you to unravel some of the complexities of award applications and also tell you how winning an award can have such a positive impact on your business. We have a star panel for you today who will share all of their experiences. We also welcome award strategist and writer Debbie Tilley, who will be doing a presentation where she will share some handy tips on how to submit your applications. Afterwards, there will be a chance for you to ask questions. Please do use the Q&A box for your questions, and we will try our best to answer them all, particularly if there are overlapping themes. Now, before we delve into the detail, I will share with you a bit of information about FSB. We are the leading voice of small businesses and the self-employed across the UK. We're also working to we're also working to deliver real change for all small business owners on the issues that matter to you most. Our lobbying work continues to secure essential support, and we've also seen a number of government wins for SMEs to date. Some of you may have heard about those wins just recently. Now, in addition to our lobbying work, FSB membership unlocks market-leading business services and tools designed to help your business thrive. That includes 24-hour, 24/7 legal and employment advice, and an online library of legal documents and templates, tax investigation insurance, financial expertise, local support, and there's so much more. We are behind you every step of the way on your business journey. Now, to find out how to join FSB, please do visit our website. You can either speak to your local membership advisor, all of those details are on the website as well. And you also have a dedicated development manager in your area. You can find their details on the regional pages of our website. Alternatively, please do contact myself on LinkedIn. Now, every year, as I say, I get very excited about today as it's the launch of our FSB Awards. This year, we have 12 categories. And the deadline to get your applications in is the 11th of February. So please do start your applications if you haven't already, and really do get them in. And we will certainly share some really helpful information on how to submit those applications. As I say, there are 12 categories. That includes the Sustainability Award. We've got the Micro Business Award, Startup Business Award, Family Business Award, the Young Entrepreneurs Award, which is the one that really excites me, Community Award, the Innovation Award, Self-Employed Freelancer Award, Expansion and Growth Award, Diversity and Inclusion Award, and the Service Excellence Award. And we've got a new one actually for this year, which is the Franchise Business Award. Now, without further ado, I will introduce our star panel. We are expecting Debbie Tilley to join us. I understand that she is having some problems joining us today. Hopefully she will be able to join us shortly to do her presentation. But in the meanwhile, while we wait for Debbie, I will start to introduce the rest of our panel here today. And we will certainly can start asking them really about, why they entered the awards, what are the benefits that they've certainly seen to becoming an FSB award winner, and how it sort of helped them to promote their business to their clients and fellow business owners. Now, first of all, I would like to introduce to you Gordon Quinn, who is the owner of Badacro Distillery. Now, Gordon became the FSB award winner of the Exporter of the Year category in 2023. Alongside Gordon, we have Donna Alley. Now, Donna was actually a winner of the national and regional FSB awards in diversity inclusion as well in 2023. We also have Bemi Shitta, who is the owner of Sweet Dough Things. She became the FSB award winner of the Exporter of the Year category again last year in 2023. And then we have Liz Drury from Liz Drury Voiceovers, and she was the FSB award winner for the Self-Employed and Freelancer of the Year category in 2023 as well. So a warm welcome to you all today. Can I start off? I'll go around you all, and I will start off with Gordon. And I would just like to ask you, Gordon, if you could just tell us a bit about your business, and also why you decided to enter the FSB Awards.
Hi, Simona, and everybody else. My wife and I started Barrack Road Distillery about 8 years ago. We live in the very northwest Highlands of Scotland, and didn't have experience in the distilling business, but did in some sort of related marketing and flavour-based businesses. And we were going to make one gin for one pub, and as a little side line to our bed and breakfast and self-catering business. And the distillery's now overtaken everything that all our other parts of business. So it's the only business that we run now. And where was a local business selling in the Highlands, and then into the Central Belt, Scotland, and then we sold a bit into London. And Vanessa is originally from Germany, from Munich, and we thought, wouldn't it be nice to export some of our products to Germany, to Munich? And we managed that on a very small scale. And that kind of whet our appetite for exporting, Simona. And we saw that there was a lot of upfront effort, but one of our objectives at the distillery was to create employment, year-round permanent jobs on a small scale. And exporting was good for spreading our risk and also for creating some volume, and which meant excuse me, bit of a cold here. So we decided to focus part of our efforts onto exporting, and we had little success, and did an interview in a local newspaper, and all of a sudden around the Highlands we were being sort of flagged up as being a very successful young small export company, and that motivated us to keep going, and our exports, now we're exporting from Canada, Bermuda, over to Taiwan and China, across Europe. And just the fact that we'd had some growing success in there, and we were members of the FSB, we were looking through the list of awards that we could possibly apply for or enter, and that seemed to be a natural area that we were doing quite well in, and wanted to gain a bit more credibility and have some sort of outside authentication for, if you like. And so that's what drove us to enter the awards.
Oh, that's so great to hear. And can I just ask you, Gordon, since winning the awards, what are the benefits that you've seen to your business?
Well, there's a sort of timeline to it, I suppose. The initial surprise and delight of winning the award was very good internally for everybody who was involved in the export business. My son, who was only 21 at the time, was living in Glasgow, and I was really quite ill at the time, unfortunately. So my son had to go and stand in for me and receive the award, which was really, really motivating and great to get some other elements of the workforce involved. But then the publicity we got from it was inevitably very helpful, very good. I mean, most publicity and exposure is positive. But I think the biggest element is the credibility that we felt it gave us, that we could add to our credentials, that we could be seen as excellent in exporting, which would help encourage potential importers to work with us. It badged us, if you like, as credible, competent exporters, which made it all the easier for potential customers in other countries to agree to work with us and import our products.
That just sounds fantastic. And actually, that is a very similar story that we hear with lots of FSB award winners. I'll actually move over to you now, Donna. If you could sort of, if I could ask you to introduce yourself first of all, and if you could tell us as well, why did you enter the awards, and what is the benefit that you've seen to your business?
Hi everyone, my name is Donna Ali, and I launched Be Excellence, which is a social enterprise here in Wales. We created Be Excellence to support the aspirations of Welsh Government's Anti-Racism Action Plan. So our work is around diversity and inclusion, particularly raising representation in business, media and education. We joined the awards, actually I joined the awards and filled the application out, and I didn't know that you could fill it out yourself. I thought somebody else had to nominate you for an award. So I felt a little bit like I was patting myself on the back, and it felt a little bit weird actually nominating myself. But I'm not just myself, but the people I work and collaborate with. But I did so because I thought, well, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to. And I really, out of all the awards that are going around, FSB for me gives me credibility in terms of having a viable business and also a business that's making impact. So that's why I applied for it. The benefits so far have been, first of all, we won the national, which was great, the regional, which was great. But then to win the national, I was absolutely flabbergasted because obviously you're winning amongst other people doing great work in this area as well. So for me, it just gave me that more confidence that what I'm doing is has some kind of validity to it. Again, like Gordon, is giving me credibility and is giving me more support and sponsorship. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
That's just amazing to hear. And for your record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving yourself a pat on the back. Please do. And that is actually the amazing thing I think about the FSB Awards. You know, it's really a chance for you to let your confidence shine, you know, and we certainly do hear about a lot of imposter syndrome amongst business owners. So it really is good to, you know, really highlight the hard work that you're doing. I mean, why not? So that's just amazing, both of you. Just a huge congratulations. Now moving over to Bemi. Bemi's owner of Sweet Dough Things. I'd just like to ask you to introduce yourself, please, Bemi, and also if you could also tell us, you know, why did you enter the awards and what are the benefits that you've seen to your business?
Hi everyone, my name is Bemi. I am founder and CEO of Sweet Dough Things. Sweet Dough Things is a confectionery company. We do baked treats and sweets. So we do most of our sweets in the free-from sector. So sugar-free, vegan, all the healthier options of well-known sweets. We the first company to actually manufacture sugar-free candy floss within the UK, and that was quite quiet. Many people are not familiar with the concept of candy floss being sugar-free, bearing in mind that it's a very well-known treat and it's traditionally 99% sugar. And when I entered the awards, just like Donna said, I initially thought, why would I want to nominate myself for this award? You know, it's people are meant to speak for you, and you're not speaking for yourself. But I was here this time last year listening to the previous winners, you know, why they entered, how they entered. But I still did a kick up the backside to eventually force myself to enter. And we did. One of the reasons why I thought, oh no, I can't do this. I thought it was going to be such a cumbersome exercise filling out the entry for the awards. But it wasn't so much cumbersome. It was just a few hours of dedication to entering the awards. One of the reasons why I thought it would be good to enter was, just to get some kind of recognition for the hard work that we put into the business, and also to showcase the dedication of our workforce in, ensuring that Sweet Dough Things was doing what it was doing. We started to export quite early in our journey, and that was, as many food and drink business owners would know, entering, retail shelves in the UK is a very, very competitive thing. Most buyers, there's little space and you need to justify why they would put you on their shelves in the first instance. And while we're struggling to do that, I just thought, we can try this abroad and see how that works. And the first export was me just going blindly, traveling blindly and just cold calling. And we got an order straight away. And I thought, okay, this might work. And got back, got in touch with the DIT, they were at the time, now DBT, Department of Business and Trade. And they supported us with our export journey. And almost immediately we started exporting to Germany. We did a few trade missions, now we export to Germany, France, Norway, Switzerland, and the UAE. And that's just as a result of all the, help from the Department of Business and Trade. And since winning the award, we've expanded to more countries because the award has given us a lot of credibility in terms of what we do, our product, and also it gives the business a lot of integrity. And it also motivates other business owners to enter the awards. If this business can do it, then we can do it too. And as a result, we've kind of we've grown much quicker than we anticipated. So yeah, it's been good all round. And when I get these emails, one of the things that potential clients say is, "Oh, we heard you won this award." And I'm like, okay, yes, we did, you know. And it's amazing how they know that you won a regional award in different countries outside the UK. So that's been really brilliant for our business in terms of expanding in such a short period of time.
Yeah, and that's actually, again, another thing that we hear. Good news travels really fast. You'd be so surprised, once you win the award, you'd be so surprised about how the word gets out, just absolutely fantastic. Your story blows me away, Bemi. Just fantastic. Now over to Liz as well. Liz, if you could just again tell us a bit about your business. Why did you enter the awards? And also, what are the effects that you've seen on your business so far?
Yeah, so I'm Liz Drury. I'm a freelance voiceover artist based in North Lincolnshire, and I work from my little home studio, which is what you can see behind me, for clients all over the world. And I've entered a few awards since I've been in business. I've been in business just over 10 years now. And I wanted to enter the FSB Awards because it's a national award. I've been nominated for things locally within Lincolnshire. But I think, if you get nominated for a national award for such as the FSB, that gives you even more sort of kudos for your business, really. And like the others have said, it's all about, recognition for your business and being taken seriously as a business owner, which I think is really important, especially when you're a sole trader like I am, and you're working on your own in your own little silo. You don't have a team around you. It's I remember when I first started out in business and I was nominated for my very first business award, telling my children this. My eldest child said to me, "Mum, you don't have a business." Because I'm just one person working on my own. She didn't think that qualified me as a businesswoman. So to be recognized by something like the FSB is it's really, really exciting. And what did I get out of it? Well, a few things really. I think actually just completing the application is a really good way to look at your business and just to recognize how far you've come and what things you've achieved, because you go back through the year or years thinking, oh yeah, I did that and I did that and I launched this and then this happened, and it gives you a real boost, actually, just sort of looking back over all the things that you have achieved and how far you have come. So that's kind of really important. And something else that came out of it, also, I think it's worth saying that even just to be nominated for an award is as good as winning, because that gives you something to talk about on social media. You can write a press release to your local newspaper saying I'm up for this award, and you get nearly as much PR out of being nominated as you do out of winning. So that's sort of worth bearing in mind. But something kind of really concrete that came out of it. So I was the awards that I went to was the Yorkshire and Humber Awards, which were held in Leeds. And one of the other nominees in a different category to me, they were a video production company, which obviously is the kind of company that I can work for. So during one of the little breaks, I went over to their table and introduced myself, and we had a chat and we exchanged cards. And I have since worked for them several times. And they also put me in touch with one of their contacts who was looking for a voiceover artist, and I've worked for them too. So, my bottom line increased because of being an FSB award winner. And, at the end of the day, that's what we're all about, isn't it? Moving our businesses forward.
Thank you so much, Liz. And actually, yes, you raised two really important points there. First of all, I've certainly heard that as well. Even if you don't win, just being a finalist actually is great promotion for your business. I've certainly seen a lot of our finalists, sort of promoting it on the social media and in their other bits of marketing. And it is just an amazing sort of how can I say? It's great for your business. Absolutely a great thing to attach to your business, just to be sort of shortlisted and be a finalist for an award. The other amazing thing that you just mentioned there as well, Liz, is just about the networking as well that comes out of it. Fantastic opportunity to meet other businesses. And we certainly do hear that as well, at the events. There's so much business that takes place at those events as well. So thank you so much, Liz. Now we're delighted to welcome Debbie, who I know had a few issues getting here. I'm so pleased to see you're here, Debbie. Debbie is an award strategist and writer. She launched her award writing business in 2022, and she's on a mission to get entrepreneurs the recognition they deserve. She's got experience writing for awards locally, nationally, and internationally. And she's also worked with one of the UK's top awards agencies. And she's learned everything that judges are and are not looking for. Really pleased to welcome Debbie here today, and she'll be able to share some great insight into writing those award-winning applications. A huge welcome, Debbie. If you could just introduce yourself. And I know you've got a brilliant presentation that you'd like to also share with us today. So at this stage, I'm now just going to hand over to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Simone. And I'm really grateful to be here. For a second, I didn't think I'd be able to make it at all. So shall I share my screen from the off and we can get going? Is that all good? Give me a quick thumbs up. Yay. Okay, well, lovely to meet you all and welcome to the webinar, okay, because I know just how difficult it is to put yourself out there and enter an award for yourself. There's like masses of imposter syndrome to deal with there, and just lots of fears around what will people think? What will people think that I think of myself? Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about 3 crucial things you need on your award entry, or the judges are looking for. And that's all because my mission, as Simone said, is to give you the skills and the self-belief to get the recognition you deserve in order to skyrocket your business to greater success and greater impact. So just a quick bit about me. As I said, I'm Debbie Tilley, and I'm an award writer and strategist. I've got a first class BA in English language and literature. I'm also a qualified chartered accountant, go figure, you know, but I spent some time working for Grant Thornton in Manchester. I've also taught English as a second language, so I've got my CELTA qualification in that, and that was in North Thailand and in London. I've got my PGCE qualification in primary education to boot. And I've worked as an editor and a content developer for Macmillan Cancer Support, again in London, in Vauxhall. And I've been running my own businesses since 2017, specialising in award entries since 2022. Okay, so I know I do not look old enough to have such masses of different jobs and careers, but it's exactly this kind of varied career that I now see as my USP, because I have the business know-how. I've written mock exam papers for the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. I've got the editorial experience and the deep love of language. I've had all the training in plain English and accessibility, and I've got the training and I've got the teaching experience as well. But most importantly, I have a 96% success rate. This is based on entries in 2023 of getting clients through to the finals. Okay. So quickly run over the benefits of awards, because I know lots of our award winners have already mentioned these. So brand awareness, whole marketing bonanza. Okay, this is not only your own marketing, but also the marketing by the FSB in the run up to the final. Okay, the more people know you, the more benefits that brings. We all know that. Credibility, the whole know, like, trust, tick. Opportunities galore in terms of new business connections and access to communities of high achieving entrepreneurs. And also, if you do have employees, the impact that this has on staff morale is massive. And then run on like productivity, staff recruitment, retention, all those things. And as confidence, okay, we talked about that. Just everybody who runs a business needs confidence. And also Liz, I believe in particular, was talking about how it's a fantastic business MOT. It's like holding up a microscope to your business and seeing what is working well and what you need to do more of. Okay. But I believe the absolute best thing about entering awards is that 90% of these benefits can be accessible purely from being shortlisted. Okay, now I'm not saying that being shortlisted is enough, because I'm always in it to win it. Okay, but I'm also not saying that people only remember the winner. Okay, because I do believe that that is true. If you make the absolute most of the entire process, you know, and as we mentioned, getting out there, sharing things on social media, PR opportunities galore, even being nominated. Okay, so if you're putting all that pressure on yourself that you need to win, stop right now. Okay, but what exactly are judges looking for? So 3 crucial things, and this is regardless of the award, is even regardless of the category. Okay, so number 1, impact. Now this is really crucially important. If you don't do this, if you don't nail this, the rest is largely irrelevant. So think very carefully about what difference you are making and to who. What pain are you solving? Whose life are you making better, and how? So a fantastic example that I have is a healthcare client of mine, supplies and maintains equipment such as specialist beds, hoists, chairs in people's homes, and they had some fantastic statistics, things like 3.25 million turnover, over 20,000 completed jobs, which are all great. Okay, but their number 1 headline impact was that they had helped nearly 1,000 local residents to spend their final days at home. That is their impact. Okay, those customers don't care about how many jobs they've completed, don't care about how much money they've made, okay, but that is the impact that they've had on their lives and on the lives of their loved ones. Okay, and then link to a bigger societal impact here could be that they're improving the quality of end-of-life care in their local area as well. Okay, so another quick example was a client who ran toddler dance classes. Okay, I got them thinking about how their impact related to obesity rates in the UK, how it could be linked to that, mental health statistics, NHS underfunding, even the creative crisis in education, and the lack of entrance going into the arts industry. Okay, and that is just the impact that they potentially are having on children and those related industries. There's also a whole host of benefits that you could tap into for the parents as well. Okay, so think about your impact, and what I would say here is dig deep. Okay, we're also thinking, okay, but how do I focus on my impact? Okay, 3 main ways here: through evidence, through your structure, and I will talk about both of these more shortly, but also your language. You want to be using language that has impact, that shows your passion and that shows your commitment. So everybody loves this tip. Be dramatic, okay? It's all about using powerful language and 0 humility here, okay? You're just gonna have to like check that humility at the door, okay? So things like, you didn't help 982 clients, you inspired or empowered nearly 1,000 business owners to do X, Y, and Z. Remember, always focus on demonstrating your impact. So don't just talk about what you did, but talk about the effect that that had and on who. So what did you help those people to do? How did you help them? Okay, some of my favorite words here are pioneering. I love implemented, enabled, The worst words I find to use are the words help and did, which sounds terrible, but there's so many more impactful, powerful alternatives to using those words. So if you find yourself using did, we did this, think about what you could be using instead. Okay. And as I also mentioned before, try to think about how you can link this to a bigger societal impact. So this could be environmental, it could be relating to inclusion and diversity issues, or health and well-being. Any kind of bigger societal impact be great. Just a link to that. Number 2, what judges want: evidence. Okay, where you're thinking, what kind of evidence? What do you mean? Okay, so 2 main kinds. Statistics. Okay, this is all, I don't want to say the boring stuff, the dry stuff, okay, but this includes all your financial stuff, but it also includes things like numbers of customers, numbers of participants, if you've been running events, attendees, also your key performance indicators, percentages of growth, how much you've grown in the year, how much your numbers of customers have grown in the year. Staff survey results. You want to be able to say, oh, 95% of our customers say that they would recommend us to, ideally you want to say 100%, but whatever it is. So do those surveys and get those results. Okay. Customer survey results, staff survey results, whatever it is that shows your impact best. Okay. So think about what evidence would be ideal to show that impact. Okay, you don't need to show everything. Just because you've got it doesn't mean you have to kind of squash it into the entry. Okay, think about what shows you to your best advantage. Okay, but also not just statistics, you need some story, because this is what gives the judges the feels. Okay, and they're human too. They want to see your values, your mission, your USP. They want to feel emotion, and they want to hear your passion, because this is what gets them interested and invested in your entry. Okay, so you think, well, how do you do this? This could be through sharing elements of your own personal story, okay, if it's relevant. Okay, this could be through testimonials from your customers. It can also be through a customer case study. Now, a lot of people freak out when I say that. Okay, we're not talking about pages and pages of information. When I say customer case study, it's just going to be a couple of sentences, just an example, okay, because you don't have the word count to share everything. Okay, but remember, always focus on your impact. So this is very important when you're looking at testimonials, when you're choosing which testimonials to share, because everybody loves the testimonial and said, oh yeah, working with Debbie was ace, she's great, she's really friendly. Okay, doesn't say anything about my impact whatsoever. Better would be things like, working with Debbie has completely transformed our business. We've been shortlisted for X numbers of awards, or this many awards, and sales have gone up this much, made new business connections. So think about this when you're asking for testimonials. You can specify what you want that customer to be focusing on. So ask them specifically, what was it like working with me, and what was the impact of working with me? So remember, when it comes to story, one individual story, just one individual story, a lot of clients are like, that's just one example, but that can be very, very powerful. If you can show a massive impact for just one individual, and this can be memorable long after all the fantastic but dry statistics have been forgotten. Okay, a judge will remember your story. That'll get in their brain. So, but this is all so, but you need both. And what I'd say as well is try to make it all as visual as possible. Now you're thinking, well, this is a written entry. What are you talking about? Okay, but with the FSB Awards, I know you have opportunities to submit some supporting documents. So use that opportunity, okay? And think about, but don't use it to submit lots more written information, because the judges are more than likely had far, like, enough of that. They're kind of like, oh gosh, you know, they want to see stuff. Okay, so think photographs, think press coverage. Okay, even things like statistics are way more impactful when presented as a graph. Okay, you can see your growth. Okay, and FYI, judges love video testimonials, absolutely love them. So I know it can be tricky to get, but it can be worth it. Okay, so this is just a quick example of a supporting document which I created for a client of mine. As you can see, pictures of the founders, pictures of the team. We've got a picture of their premises here, some key statistics highlighted. I've removed the graph here, but a graph showing fantastic growth, some pictures of what they've been doing out in the community. As you can see, they went on to win 5 awards last year, including the EVAs and the Liverpool Legal Society Awards. As you can see, it's all about being impactful, but easy on the eye. Oh, I've gone too quickly. And number 3, the judges really, really want an easy life. Okay, everybody wants an easy life. Judges are no exception. So, do you think the judges want to see this? Okay, so always think, would an 8-year-old read that? Okay, and even if they could, because I've got an 8-year-old, would they even want to? I don't even want to read that. Okay, so break it up. Make it nice and easy for the judges. Don't make them work for it. Okay, short sentences. So get rid of all your comma splices. We do not want sentences that go on for lines and lines and lines with comma after comma after comma after comma. Use your full stops. Short sentences. Short paragraphs. Even short words. Okay, this is not the time for flowery language. You do not want the judge reaching for their dictionary, because they won't. They'll just move on. Okay, but also do not get carried away. Okay, we don't want any acronyms or techie stuff that only people in your industry know. Bullet points, they are your friends. Okay, but just one word of warning. If you are writing your entry in a Word document beforehand, which I highly recommend you do, and then copying and pasting it into the award platform, the word counts can be different. Very often award platforms count bullet points as a word, and the Word document doesn't. So just a word of warning, don't get caught out. So no, I have. And headings, they are also your friends, especially headings which break down the criteria of the question. Now I know with the FSB Awards, you've got, it's broken down into questions as opposed to a sort of more an open kind of like, you have 1,000 words, tell us why you're so great. Okay, but you can still use the headings to break down the criteria of what they're looking for. As I said, make it easy for the judges to pick out. They can see not only have you read the criteria, cha-ching, but also you've addressed it, and this is exactly where it is. Makes it really easy for them. Okay, and the language that they use in the category criteria in the question, make sure you're dropping that throughout. So if they talk about innovative, or it's about well-being or leadership, entrepreneur, inclusion, sustainability, make sure you pepper your answer with some of those words that they've used. This is not so much name dropping as keyword dropping. Okay, just so, as I said, makes it really easy for the judge to see. But also think accessibility. So I personally believe in being personable, okay, and demonstrating your passion. Okay, so I'm not one for the corporate speak. I'm most definitely a kind of write how you speak kind of girl. Okay, but standard English, don't get carried away. But because as soon as anyone picks up a pen, goes in front of their keyboard, it's like we're writing that we're trying to impress our old English teacher or professor, okay? And we're not. Okay, we're trying to impress judges about what we've done, not about what fancy language we can use, okay? And I'll say the most important thing here, in the exact opposite of what I've actually done, put the most impressive information first, okay? So an award entry is the exact opposite of every great novel you've ever read, or every box set that you've ever watched. There's no building to a grand finale, okay? You want the most impressive information, the sort of season spoiler, right up there at the front in an introductory paragraph, or in the very first sentence of every sort of question answer, okay? Don't hide that information. Don't make the judges work for it, okay? You want to grab their attention from the off and make it super easy for them to tick off the criteria that they want to tick. Okay, and bonus tip, because I know a lot of people flummoxed completely by this. Okay, so think, where do I even start? How do I even start? And this is where I always go back to a quote from my good friend Ernest Hemingway. So this is a warning. Do not take this literally. Do not take it literally, please. This is all about writing without inhibition. Okay, so don't worry about typos, grammar, consistency, repetition. Just get everything down, copy and paste from anywhere relevant. If you want to just do it in note form, that's fine. Okay, because when you've done that, when you've got everything that you want to mention down, you're probably going to be completely exhausted. No, I usually am. If you can, just step away from it and leave it a day. This is where leaving yourself enough time is definitely pays dividends, okay? Leave it a day and then come back to it and edit. I like to leave entries sort of as long as possible between drafts, sleep on it, do something totally different. And the introductory paragraph, I always leave that to the end. Don't be sat there thinking, oh, how's the best way to start this? Don't, just start in the middle, okay? And come back to that. That you need to be summing up your entire entry. And you can't do that if you haven't written your entire entry. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you start, just start. So in summary, make judging easy, evidence it all, focus on impact. And the bonus is just start. Okay, so time's nearly up, but my last tip, be realistic. So you need to make peace with the fact that you won't win every award that you enter. And that doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean it's not worth entering those awards. You need to get used to knockbacks and you need to get that resilience going, because that's what judges look to see. Hey, I know business owners who've been shortlisted 4 times before winning. And I also know business owners who've won the very first award that they entered. Okay, so it's not a case of having to be shortlisted a certain number of times before winning. It's more of a case of learning and improving how you present yourselves and what you do as a business each time until you're able to give the judges exactly what they're after. And I'm going to leave you with a fantastic quote from Nelson Mandela. I never lose, I either win or learn. Now, the 2 top things I find that hold business owners back from entering: fear of failure and humility. Okay, I've heard loads of excuses ranging from I'm not the glory hunter, Awards are all fixed anyway, they're not. And the absolute beauty, I'm just too British. Okay, so as we spoke about before, an award entry is a fantastic business MOT. Even if you don't get shortlisted, even if you write the entry and you decide not even to enter, okay, it's just a fantastic way of looking at your business and seeing what it is you've done really well, giving yourself that pat on the back, that motivation to keep going, and also looking at kind of like, oh yes, that has been on my to-do list, I haven't done that, right, I need to get started on that. Motivation to do those things that you haven't got around to doing. Okay, fill in those little gaps, fill in those blanks. By the end of it, I guarantee you'll have a much clearer picture of what it is you're doing well and what you need to do more of. So if you're thinking, oh, but my business isn't big enough to enter an award, I haven't been in business long enough to enter an award, give it a try. Okay, you have got nothing to lose and a huge amount to gain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Debbie. That was just so much information there. Really helpful and really useful as well. And I completely agree with what you've just said. You've got absolutely nothing to lose by entering the awards and everything to gain, as we've heard here today. Now, being conscious of time, and I'm aware that there are quite a few questions. Thank you so much for those of you who have submitted questions. This part of the session, we will now try our best to work our way through these. As I say, sometimes there are overlapping themes, so it means that we can sort of answer two questions at the same time. And also I can probably answer some of these as well straight away. So the first one that I have here, do you have to be an FSP member to apply for one of the awards? The answer to that is no. The FSP Awards are open to FSP members and non-members, or everyone is welcome to apply. As I mentioned before, the submissions open today and the closing date to get your applications in is the 11th of February. Please do have a look at the FSP website for a direct link to the awards where you can see all of the information. So that's that one. The second one is from Sarah Mills. My business is very new. I'm only 6 months in and I've only worked with 2 clients so far. Are there particular points in business maturity where the awards are aimed at? Actually, Debbie, I think I could probably answer that one quickly as well. So the awards is open to start-up businesses as well, operating for under 2 years in any business sector. Judges will be looking for businesses that have identified and exploited a market opportunity while building a solid foundation upon which their business can thrive. So we will ask you to tell us why you fit the awards category selected. We will also ask you to tell us about how the business was launched, why it's filling a gap in the market, your own current business success, and also for you to share evidence of successful business performance. And we'll also ask you to demonstrate the actions you are taking to make the business grow and survive long term. So hopefully that information is helpful as well. Again, if you look at the FSP website, have a look at the dedicated FSP Awards website, you will see some more information around that. Vicky McLean, to be a new business, how long do you need to be in business before you for an award? I think that answers that as well for you there, Vicky. I think this one's for you actually, Debbie. How can you link impact if you are a self-employed product gift-based business?
Right, well, it's hard to answer without knowing what that product is. So I would advise think about what pain you're solving or what benefit you're bringing to that end user. Okay, why are they buying that product? Is it solving a problem that they have? Are they trying to access some benefits? Yeah, it's difficult to answer with that, but I would think about that. I mean, even if it's a gift, you could think about what benefits that brings, maybe in terms of stress, in terms of or relationships, keeping relationships, building those relationships, maintaining those relationships. Very difficult to answer without knowing what that is, but dig deeply in into the benefits and the pain. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think there's another one here for you as well, Debbie. If you have already won an award, do you mention this first, much or at all?
Yeah, I normally do when I'm putting award entries. Although it can sometimes depend on how long ago that was. Definitely, if you're talking about what have you done in the last 12 months, or if it was fairly recent, then very often I put a bullet list of kind of like of what has been achieved in the last year, like a summary of what's been achieved. So I'll definitely mention that. Yeah, and if it's an award that's in relation to a particular like category, like I don't know, like innovation award, or to do with sustainability or inclusion, if it's related to that question that you're answering. So yes, I would definitely say mention it if it's definitely if it's relevant. Again, it's difficult to know without knowing how long ago that was, how relevant it is, but I would say definitely mention it. If it was a long time ago, I wouldn't mention it first. Yeah, but you can, but yeah, certainly mention it somewhere, I'd say.
Thank you for that, Debbie. The next question here is actually one of the most common questions that we get, and this one is actually for the entire panel. So if I could ask you all to answer this one in turn, when they are eligible for more than one category, how do they pick which one to apply for? Can I start with you, Bemi, for this one? How did you decide?
I think for me, I'm just looked at the one that was most relevant to the business. At the point when I was applying, I just thought, okay, we've done quite a bit of export. We had export wins, and I thought that was most relevant to what we were doing at the time. Fast forward 12 months now, if I were to go enter the awards again, I think you mentioned something about imposter syndrome before. You want to, oh gosh, I don't want to enter for more than one category because I don't want people to think, is it just my business? But I think, I now have the confidence to explore more than one category. But when I first tried, that was our first award we ever entered anyway. And we were fortunate enough to win. But at the time, what I was thinking was, okay, which category is more relevant to what we're doing at the moment?
Yeah.
And that's how I chose. But if you were to ask me today, my answer will be different. I would probably go for more than one category, because I think we've since entered quite a number of awards. We haven't won everything. We're finalists in other awards, and that in itself is huge, being a finalist. And just to speak to what Debbie said earlier, you don't really have to win. Now, for me, it's not about winning. It's about entering, and entering is, it showcases the business anyway.
Yeah.
So I would probably now today go for every category that I think applies to what we're doing as a business.
And the same for you, Gordon. Could you just
Yeah,
give a brief answer on that?
In the past, we've entered awards that we've felt have been of specific in specific areas that are going to be of specific help to us with a specific objective. As I was saying, with the export one, we were getting into exports, so we're doing well. We were excited about them. We were quite focused on them, so it seemed like a very relevant category to enter. Our view this coming year actually is to enter more categories in more awards, and looking at from a quite a mercenary publicity perspective, in that I think usually quite a high percentage of applicants are shortlisted and get down to finalists, and so given that the amount of currency we can get out of that, we'll probably apply for more relevant. They have to be relevant. You have to have a good argument for them, of course. But we're up for entering a few more awards to help spread the word of the business and get the news of our whiskey and our gin and our vodka out into the world on a broader sense. And with the view, not necessarily winning them all, but of getting that runner-up thing that Debbie was talking about, the value.
Thank you, Gordon. And just quickly, Donna, as well.
For me, I think it was more about credibility and impact and what areas of my work did I want to promote most. And I think for me, it was obviously diversity inclusion, which is the heart of everything that we do. So for me, it was definitely about promotion and raising awareness of the impactful work we've been doing. So.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And Liz.
I think if your business is relevant to more than one category, then enter more than one category, because doing one application, you've done most of the work, because a lot of the information can be copied and pasted into the other award application. And obviously you need to tailor each one to what you're entering. But a lot of the information, you've already done the hard work and got it there in front of you. So why not enter more than one category?
I completely agree. So thank you. We had that as actually an overlapping question. There was quite a few of people asking you that. So hopefully that answers your questions. We've got another one here, and I think this is probably for you again, Debbie. I'm a small business, but worried I don't have anything big to brag about in the awards. I know it's probably a mindset thing, but how do I get around this block?
Well, I'd say just try. First of all, just try. But you never know. And I think a lot of awards, it isn't about how big you are. So I would say again, focus on the impact that you've had on just a few customers. I don't know how many customers you've got, but make sure you get some fantastic testimonials off them. You get some fantastic survey results, and just try with those. Yeah, so don't let that hold you back. You think I'm not a massive company.
I completely agree. I couldn't agree with you more about that. I'm just cycling through these questions now. There's one here actually, which I'm not quite sure. Maybe we might have to come back to you on this one, Francis. We'll have your details. If a business was to win an award, would there be a licensing fee to pay to advertise the award? Could you answer that, Debbie?
If a business was to win an award, would there be a licensing fee to pay to advertise the award?
Yeah, I from my thought, I don't think there is. No, I'm not quite sure, but no. I've certainly seen businesses, as I say, advertise it on their social media platforms. They have a link on or a logo on their website. They do it verbally when they're out and about as well. Like some people I've just seen, videos work really well after you've won an award. We also will be collating our own promotional videos as well. But I've certainly seen people make the very best use of winning that award. And as you said as well, Bemi, it's not even just about winning, it's about entering, it's about being a finalist. I've seen some amazing marketing come out of it. So I can't imagine that. That's my answer to that. But if there's some more information, we can certainly provide that afterwards. Just looking at some more with a bit more information. I think that kind of covers the gist of it, to be honest with you, looking at these questions. Thank you so much. There were quite a few, but as I say, quite a lot of overlapping ones today, which was actually really, really useful. So thank you so much. I've got a bit of information that I would like to just provide to you all about the awards. Now, the FSB Awards are obviously their national awards, and they cover 12 geographical areas across the UK. We've got the Northwest, the Northeast, East Midlands, East of England, London, Northern Ireland, Scotland, the Southeast, Southwest, Wales, West Midlands, and Yorkshire and Humber as well. The winners will be notified and invited to their regional event. All regional award winner events will be held in March 2024. And then we've also got the national final awards as well, which will be held in Blackpool in May 2024. Now, as I mentioned before, please do have a look at the website. It launched today, and it will be closing on Sunday, the 11th of February, which just gives you a few weeks to get those all-important applications in. Please do use the information that Debbie so kindly shared with you today. And please do check out our website where you will find the direct link to our FSB Awards platform. Can I just say a huge thank you to everyone today for attending and for sharing such an amazing insight, whirlwind insight into how the awards have worked for your business. A massive thank you to Debbie for sharing all of those really brilliant tips. And a huge thank you to you all. Good luck in getting on those applications, and hopefully we will see you all at the awards finals. Thank you so much for attending today. Thank you.
Thank you.